Hey yo Pineapples, Ned Shearer back again with yet another brand new deck profile. I'm bringing to you my 60 card Shaddoll trap variant that I've been playtesting. It's coming on actually about a month now, and I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. I genuinely have. It's been very consistent. It's been very slow and yet fast at the same time. So it's slow enough to compete with some of the grind decks that like Eldritch and all that sort of stuff. And it's also been fast enough to deal with things like Drytron and Zodiac and all that sort of stuff. So it's been really fun. This is my current variant of a 60 card version of the deck. I've been testing a 40 card version, but unfortunately it just didn't quite click. So I was a bit skeptical to try and go to 60. But fortunately, this deck's been very consistent, very good for me. It's also been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying this variant of the deck. There's a couple of things that I may tweak in the future, just depending on how the format does develop over the next couple of weeks, particularly with Blazing Vortex coming out very shortly. So I just wanted to bring to you this variant of my deck that its current build. It's been a lot of fun, as I said. Before I get into the deck profile, I'd like to shout out everyone that's currently subscribed to my channel. I have amazing support, and you guys really love that Magitus deck profile and combo tutorial, so thank you ever so much, and a massive shout out to just over 100 subscribers at the moment. It's not much of a milestone, but I'm pretty new to this, so I really do appreciate the subscribes and all the likes and comments, and you guys have been absolutely amazing, so thank you ever so much. And I'll get straight into the deck profile now. As I said, it's a 60 card variant. It has 25 monsters, 10 spell cards, and 25 trap cards, starting with the Shaddol component of 3 copies of Shaddol Squamata, 3 copies of Shaddol Wendy, 3 copies of Now Shaddol Ariel, 2 copies of Shaddol Hedgehog, 2 copies of Shaddol Beast, 1 copy of Shaddol Falco, 1 copy of Shaddol Dragon, and 1 copy of Shaddol Hound. There's not exactly much to say about the first 2 of them. Shaddol Squamata and Wendy are just hands down the best Shaddol monster, main deck monsters in the entire archetype. They're just so good. They extend your plays, they make your plays, they do everything that the deck requires. 3 Ariel has been very consistent with me. Fortunately, with the meta being a very graveyard reliant deck, in lieu of playing Abyss Dweller, I'm playing 3 of this. Just triple DD Crow any 3 cards from their graveyard is just absolutely insane. Drytron, Eldritch, Virtual World, it's just so prominent in this format, so it's really good to have 3. 2 Hedgehog, 2 Beast. I wouldn't play a third of either of them just because they're sort of fillers. They don't exactly start or extend your plays like Shaddol and Wendy do, I find. Just 2 of each is totally fine. 1 Falco, because it's a trap variant of the deck, I just feel like it's a bit more slower and a bit more grindier, so the Falco actually does come up to recycle your graveyarded Shaddol monsters quite a lot. The 1 Dragon is really good. I would consider bumping this up to 2, just because there's a lot of decks out there. Actually, the second one does come up in a lot of matchups, and maybe I will decide to bump it up to 2, but I'm not 100% sure at this stage. And then the 1 Hound has actually come up quite a lot as well. The flip effect, probably less so than the send to graveyard effect. So the flip effect is you add a Shaddol card from grave to hand, which is really cool. So you can dump something, and then on the off chance that you have to set the Hound, you can flip it and add it back and then continue your plays. Also, with Shaddol Hound's graveyard, its other effect is when it's sent to grave by card effect, you can change the battle mode of a monster on the field. So summoning something off of Ariel and then flipping it up with the Hound is actually really good to continue your plays, and B, to OTK them in that turn. So it's been really handy. So these are the Shaddol monsters I'm currently running. There's 16 of them. And speaking of Shaddol monsters, the best, my favorite, Mathematician. This guy is so good. He's literally every Shaddol card in your deck. In your main deck anyway. He's just so good. As I said, with the 40 card variant that I was playing Fairy Tail Luna for 2 reasons. 1, because it was a slower deck. I figured that summoning a Luna to search out another one as a light target was probably a better choice, but it turns out it wasn't. This guy 100% is way better. And the other reason was I wasn't playing a Perform Mage engine like I'll be showing you now. The Perform Mage engine I'm playing 2 Damage Juggler, 2 Hat Tricker, and 2 Trick Clown and 1 Hat Tricker. This ratio has been a lot better for me. Having 3 1/1 just didn't work for me, because the third one would always be the one sort of card that was just unnecessary for the deck and then never came up, so it was just a dead card 9 times out of 10. 2 of this for me has been perfect, and then this is just your extra comp via extra link plays to sort of link climb and try and kill your opponent that turn. So those 5 cards have been great. And then the last monster I'm playing is 1 Artifact Scythe. It's never a dead card. It's a light target. Well, about the only time that it is a dead card is probably against a Drytron matchup, which is when I would side it out. But other than that, summoning this during your opponent's turn just to shut them out of extra deck plays has literally won me games. It's been absolutely insane. If you open it, it's a light target, so you can use it to make construct. There's also a tricky thing you can do if you happen to set this in your board, and your at your end board, and then you send your dragon to the graveyard. You can pop your own Scythe to summon it back, so they can't summon from the extra deck. So it's been really, really consistent for me in that regard as well. So I wouldn't change the 1 Scythe for nothing. And then the 10 spell cards I'm playing are just a very, very consistent 10 spells. I probably won't be going over them too much. So I'm playing 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 3 El Shaddoll Fusion, 3 Super Poly, and 1 Foolish Burial. There's not exactly a lot to say about it. They're just the most consistent spell cards. 3 and 3 because you want to see them because it's a 60 card variant. Super Poly just for those niche instances where happening to just set a Shaddol monster to Super Poly away the problematic card is just absolutely insane. And then Foolish Burial is the 4th Mathematician, so not much to say about those 10 spell cards there. Last but not least is the 25 trap cards that I play. Starting with the Shaddol cards, I play 3 Sinister Shadow Games. This card's insane. I love this card to death. I really do. For those who don't know, this card allows you to send 1 Shaddol monster from your deck to your graveyard. Sorry, 1 Shaddol card from your deck to your graveyard, and then you can flip up any number of Shaddol monsters you have set face up in defense position. So it's a really, really good card just to either block your opponent from playing or continue your plays during your turn. So it's really, really good card. 2 Shaddoll Schism. There's been a lot of Cosmic Cyclone floating about, so I've wanted to make sure that I had a backup for the first one getting banished off the Cyclone, so I've played the second one. 2 Incarnation. I'm very adamant now on playing only 2 Incarnation in any pure Shaddol variant because Schism's a thing. The third one just never comes up. The first one is for your combo if you happen to open it, and the second one is just for you to recycle your resources as well. So really, really good card. And then last but not least, Shaddol Core. I like Shaddol Core. I really do. It's my own personal tech choice. You can change this for literally any other card that you wish to. I just like it because you can get a double add off your graveyard. If you happen to open, say, El Shaddol Fusion during your combo, you can send this to add this back and then add this back to continue to further your interruptions during your opponent's turn. So it's a really, really good card in my opinion. Continuing on with the trap card, I play 3 Trap Trick. Every other card except for the Core and the Schism are all normal trap cards, so they can all be hit with a Trap Trick, and it's just a really, really good card. Particularly in the 60 card variant, I think I find this card at 3 to be a lot better than any 40 card variant, just because you can't always see your trap cards when you want them, and then Trap Trick is literally any of your trap cards that you happen to be missing during your starting board. So it's a really, really good card. 3 Torrential Tribute. There was a deck list that I saw recently that was playing a 60 card variant, but it was playing Needle Sealing instead of Torrential Tribute, which I thought was absolutely insane. I would actually consider playing Needle Sealing instead of Torrential Tribute, just because 4 monsters on the field and blow up every face-up monster, so you get to keep your face-down Shaddol monsters, plus you get to wipe your opponent's entire board. It's just legit absolutely amazing. So, but Torrential Tribute still does the job. It still won me a lot of games. And, just consistency is important. Speaking of which, 3 Dogmatic and Punishments as well. This card's insane as well. Just dumping anything like an Ab Cologne just to get another search to continue your plays for the following turn is just so incredible. So they're the 3 off trap cards, and then the 1 off trap cards I'm playing are 2 Sanctum for the Scythe. I didn't want to play the third one because if I happen to open 1, then obviously 1 in my deck is brick enough. But if I happen to Trap Trick it, then I don't have to worry about drawing into the third one in that, and then not having a play for the following turn. 2 Dynamiscus, it's just insane. You discard a Shaddol monster not as cost, and then you get its effect, so it's really, really good. 2 Lost Wind. Not much there's a lot I can say about this card, but it's so good. I've actually hit I was playing a Plunder Patrol player a couple of weeks ago, and I hit they attempted to use Blackbeard, the Link monster, to summon from the extra deck, and then I hit it with this, and then I won the game. So it's a really, really good card. And I'm also playing 2 D-Barrier. Dimensional Barrier is, for me, has been incredibly consistent. I would consider playing Ice Dragon's Prison, but when I was testing it online, because I don't actually own Ice Dragon's Prison, when I was testing it online, the situations where I had it, D-Barrier came up, and just, I think this card's just, in the long run, a better choice for the deck, because it shuts down an entire turn. Obviously, Ice Dragon's Prison can do the same thing if you time it right, but you just call, like, against a Zoo deck, you call Xyz, and then they can't, well, in my experience, they just haven't had a follow-up play. So I would personally consider D-Barrier a little bit better than Ice Dragon's Prison. I don't own, as I said, I don't own Ice Dragon's Prison, so probably my thoughts on it is a bit far-fetched, as it were, but I really like D-Barrier. It was, and also I did change it to compulsory evacuation device, but this, again, is 100% better. 100% better. 100% better, unless my opponent opens, Harpy's Feather Duster and Twin Twister, 3 games in a row. So that's the 60 card main. The 15 card extra deck begins with Bay. I've got to start with Bay, because Bay is Bay. It's Shaddoll Construct. She's combo starter, combo extender, combo finisher. I can't say enough about this card. This card is absolutely insane. 2 Ab Cologne. There was originally going to be 3 Ab Cologne, just for pretty much 1 for a Dogmatic or punishment target, and then the other 2 for fusion plays. But I've decided to cut it down to 2, and then play something a genuine super poly target instead. And I'm also playing 2 Winder, because I haven't needed the third one, and I just don't think 1 Winder is enough in a pure variant of a deck. So my Super Poly target is currently Mud Dragon of the Swamp. There was also another card that I was playing of Starving Venom Dragon, but when I played the Starving Venom Dragon, it was only used for a Dogmanica target. Excuse me, a Dogmanica punishment target. So instead of Dogmanica of Starving Venom, I'm playing the Cyframe Lord Omega. I'm also playing Untis for a Dogmanica punishment target. This came up a lot more than I thought. More so than Starving Venom in the current format, just to recycle, pretty much recycling, if I happen to just go through all my Shaddoll fusion monsters, all the fusion monster that I've sent first with the first punishment, I can put it back and then fusion summon it again. Because you can't summon this if it's been punishment, and it must be fusion summoned first. So, well, all the Shaddoll monsters do, but that one in particular as well. So, that's the fusion synchro lineup, and then the link monsters I'm playing are 1 Cross Sheep. It's a fusion deck. It's Cross Sheep. You do the math. 1 Construct. I like this card. I really do. Not a lot actually people know what this card does, which I'm surprised about, because every time I've summoned it, I've had someone have to read it or tell me what it, or help me tell them what it does. So, solid card. I really like that card. And then the next 3 cards are Link 4s in the way of Arpelusa, Bow of the Goddess, Boral Sword Dragon, and Unchained Abomination. For those who don't know, my first profile actually played this deck in a pure Shaddoll variant. Played these 3 cards specifically. I was originally taking, I think it was these out and playing Selene and Access Code Talker. I just found that most of the time I never got to Selene, again, in this particular build, just because, I don't know, the Selene Access Code Talker actually never came up. And when I did want to use Access Code Talker, I'd have to summon it with the Shaddoll Construct. And by summoning with the Shaddoll Construct, I've had to banish it to activate Access Code Talker's ability. I didn't want to do that. This card's just too good to recycle itself and to recycle my other spells and traps as well. It's been really, really good. So I didn't want to banish it with Access Code Talker, so I decided to play these 3 instead. Obviously, these 3 are clearly a flex spot. This was actually going to be an Avramax instead of the Abomination, or the Boral Sword could have been an Avramax, but Bow of the Goddess is totally up to you. Again, this could totally just be Selene, and I could just leave it at these 2. It really doesn't matter in the slightest, but these are the 3 that have been working for me and have been winning me games, so that's why I've kept them at these 3. Last but not least, I'll be showing you a quick side deck. Pretty much, it's just hand traps for going second. Obviously, you can't win at every dice roll, and usually games 2 or 3 if you happen to win game 1. is you're going second. So I've just decided to throw in a whole bunch of hand traps in the form of 3 Nibiru the Primal Being, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, and 3 Droll and Lockbird, which seem to be the most prevalent of the hand traps at the moment. Debatably, Ash Blossom could be Ghost Bell or Skullmeister, or maybe even Ally of Justice Cycle Reader. So they're probably these 3 are probably flex spots, but I think Nibiru and Droll and Logbird are definitely keeping him with 3 of. Maybe you can sub out a Nibiru for 2 of each of the Skullmeister and Bell if you really want to, or you can just make. I was originally playing Gamma and Driver as well, so that was another one. And I'm also playing 1 Artifact Lancia. I was playing 3. There was just didn't know how the meta really revolved around banishing cards, but so I still threw in the 1 just if on the odd chance that I face some sort of rogue deck or something that does banish. I've got the Sanctums in my deck, so if I don't open it, I can Sanctum it out and then stop their plays as well. So that's why I'm only playing 1. I just didn't need, as I said, I didn't think that the meta really required banishing as much as it used to, so I'm only playing the 1 if it's still necessary. And lastly, for back row decks, well, this is just a generic one of, it's Pankratops. You can't say much more as about Pankratops, he's just so good. Probably why he's at 1. And then for back row decks, I'm playing 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. It's Harpy's Feather Duster. I was originally playing Cosmic Cyclones and Lightning Storms, but instead I've decided to throw that all away and annoy just about every, what are they called? Eldritch player ever, and I've decided to play triple Denko Sekar. This card's just, I can't say highly enough of this card. Any back row deck loses to this card unless they have Judgment or Warning. It's as simple as that. Any back row deck that doesn't shotgun any floodgates, any cards during my standby or draw phase, this card absolutely shits on. It's insane how many Eldritch matches I've won just by dropping this and then comboing off. I can't speak highly enough of this card. For me, it's never been a dead card. It's a light target, so I can send it off of Construct. It's good for back row decks. If they happen to make me go first, when I've sided in the Denko, as I said, it's not a problem. It's a light target, so I can use it to combo. I can't speak highly enough of this card. It's really good. Well, as I said, for the way I've built the deck, it's really good. So that is the end of my pure Shaddoll 60 card trap variant. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I hope you guys give it a go. I mean, as I said, I was very skeptical of the deck at first, but it's been really consistent and it's been really fun to play. I highly recommend it to you. Any tips, tricks, or queries about the deck, by all means, leave them in the comments below. I'll endeavor to read all those lovely things. I'd like to thank everyone again for subscribing to the channel. You guys have been absolutely amazing, and I hope to bring you more consistent content sometime in the near future as well. So again, thank you ever so much for watching the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, guys, take care of yourselves. Peace.